Here are 10 common weight loss mistakes and exactly how to fix them. But who am I to tell you anything? I went from this to this, then this to this. I've been building muscle and losing fat over the past 5 years quite successfully. I'm not here to preach anything to you, I'm just here to give you my life experience so you can pick and choose what you want to add into your own life. Getting right into the list, let's start with number 1. Not tracking portion sizes correctly. A huge mistake people make is they don't have food scales or measuring cups, so they have no idea how much and what they're even eating. If you're eyeballing food for weight loss, then your weight loss is gonna reflect that. Consider getting a scale and tracking your macros. That literally takes all the guesswork out of fat loss, but if you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. At least try to measure more accurately using cups or still using the scale and eyeballing a little bit more accurately. Number 2, ignoring hidden calories. Many people don't realize how many calories are actually within things like sauces, drinks, dressings, especially salad dressings. There's a lot of people that eat salads and still don't realize why they're not losing weight. Well, because the dressing that's within your lettuce actually gives you an extra 600 calories, friend, and your whole salad ends up being like 800 calories. So, I mean, you might as well just go eat 2 Big Macs. So yes, be wary of these things. Try to find lower calorie sauces. Maybe use ketchup, use soy sauce. Avoid very sugary drinks like fruit juices or sodas. Don't eat very fatty salads. I mean, that even sounds insane to say fatty salads, but yes, I mean, a lot of salad dressings are just pumped full of mayonnaise, which gives you tons of calories that you don't even notice. Number 3, focusing too much on cardio. Cardio is good and all, but if you're doing too much, you might just be stabbing yourself in the back. Doing too much cardio may just fatigue you mentally from the actual dieting portion of your diet. Like, I remember myself, I used to do 2 hours of cardio per day at the very peak of my diet, and then this made me very emotionally drained, so I would come home and then I would just snack on a bunch of stupid junk food. So there was no point. I should have just done less cardio and eaten less. It would have been so much easier. And also, don't neglect strength training. I believe strength training is probably going to be more important in the long run than cardio if you develop an active lifestyle, of course. Now, if you do both, that's the best case scenario, but don't rely only on cardio for weight loss. Number 4, not eating enough protein. Just in case you don't know, protein is the most satiating macronutrient per calorie, meaning that it fills you up the most. It makes you the least hungry. Another reason why protein is very important is because it keeps muscle on your frame. Even if you don't exercise, if you're eating 1 gram per pound of body weight of protein, you will retain more muscle throughout your diet, and then at the very end of your diet, you will look less skinny. Number 5, sleep deprivation. If you are getting less than, let's say, 7 hours of sleep, then I've got some bad news for you. Sleep is one of the most important things when it comes to weight loss, next to what you're eating and how much energy you're expending. If you're not sleeping enough, your body is gonna pump you full of hunger hormones. Not only that, if you're sleep deprived, you actually store more calories as fat than anything else. So please, try to get at least 7 to 9 or even 10 hours of sleep. I mean, sometimes I like to get 10 hours of sleep. I feel amazing when I do. Number 6, drinking your calories. If you're drinking your calories and you stop, you're gonna see the biggest fat loss results that you've seen in your entire life. We all know that we shouldn't be drinking sodas pumped full of sugar or alcohol, but what about the other things that people consider healthy, like fruit juices or vegetable juices? If you check the labels on those, most of them actually have just as much, if not even more sugar than your typical Coke. If you want to drink something, stick to lower calorie drinks like coconut water. I personally refuse to drink my calories, but I've drank coconut water here and there. It's pretty low in calories and it does the trick, but overall I just recommend to switch to 0-calorie alternatives like Diet Coke and just plain old water. Number 7, the all or nothing mentality. Many people don't find flexibility within their diets. It's either I'm binge eating or I'm 100% on my diet. So you would have a clean diet the entire week and then just fumble it all on the weekends. I mean, I know it's difficult. I've been there as well. I'm like the prime example of this when I used to binge eat, but you have to do some psychological work for this. Come on. If you eat like a couple of treats here and there, just try not to gorge all out on them. Or if these foods really trigger you, then just don't eat them at all. There was a long period of time where I didn't even have a single cheat meal because I knew that I would end up binge eating. So try to see what works for you. But you shouldn't give up on your diet just because you had one piece of junk food here and there. Do not gorge, don't go all out if you can. Number 8, skipping meals or extreme restriction. Now, skipping meals here and there is fine. Some extreme restriction is fine, but once it persists for a long amount of time, you can start getting into the territory of eating disorders, which is what happened to me. This is how I got my binge eating disorder. Try to not diet too hard. If you're losing weight, set a reasonable attainable goal, like you want to lose 20 pounds, lose the 20 pounds and maintain it for a couple of months here and there. Don't try to cut too hard all at once. This is speaking from experience, because if you go too hard all out at once, you're going to rebound back up real fast. Number 9, not moving enough throughout the day. Similar to our talk about cardio, not moving enough throughout the day will reduce how much fat you're burning. There is something called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is how many calories your body burns from your day-to-day activities. If you're sulking in bed all day, you're going to lose far less fat than if you're moving around and doing things. Consider maybe cleaning your house more often or doing other chores that you dread, and then you could respin that in your mind as like a fat loss activity. And lastly, number 10, obsessing over the scale. Sure, the scale does tell you whether you're losing weight or not, but it can be misleading sometimes. I'm not saying to never look at the scale again, but sometimes you may be losing lots of weight only to realize that you just cut out a bunch of water. Or sometimes you might feel like your weight isn't dropping down or you gained 5 pounds within a day, but all you did was you just ate some high volume foods. So at the end of the day, you didn't gain any fat, but your weight did go up for, 1 or 2 days. Track your progress with everything. Track it with photos, track it with weight, track it with how your clothes fit if you can. This will give you a more precise way to track your weight loss and not only rely on the scale. If you're ready to take the first step, press the first link in the description and join our free Skool group. Here you will meet like-minded people and get more direct help from me and our community. If I gave you anything of value, please consider subscribing to the channel. It'd really help us out a lot. And don't forget to stay savvy with your diet.